talk about problems associated with too much leisure time. What problems can you incur with too much leisure time? If you have too much leisure time, I believe there is no one who's supposed to have too much leisure time. If you have too much leisure time, you have a problem. You tend to think so when we close school, that you have too much leisure time, but you don't have. Because you're supposed that time to help your parents, and help your parents. If let's say your parents has a business, that is the right time also to engage in that business so that you can take over after him. That is the time also you're supposed to continue with studying. Studying or education is an ongoing activity, it doesn't stop. And then also that is the time that you're supposed to take care of yourself. That is, you take care of the room that you sleep in. That is the time that you're supposed to buy baby clothes that you need. So I beg to differ that there is too much leisure time. But what is the problem if you have too much leisure time? Tell me, what is the problem? Yes? Or the problems associated with too much leisure time? Yes? Unplanned time. Yes, unplanned time. Mm-hmm. Yes, you might engage in bad company. Mm-hmm. It may result into laziness, yes. Sorry? Misuse of finances. Yes, very good. So if you have too much time, you'll discover even when you're doing your K.C.S.E later this year, that if you're doing a paper, maybe today is on a Tuesday, and then your next paper is next week on Monday, you might not even extensively read or study before your exam, because you tend to the time you have tends to occupy you so much that you say, I have time, but you do not have what? Time. So here, when you're talking about the problems, number one is boredom. Yes? And boredom is experienced by those who are not creative thinkers. And it is associated with too much leisure time. Also, you might demand for excitement, which may lead to harmful leisure activities. Because you have too much leisure time, you will want you might want to engage in activities that tend to give you excitement. Why do you think over the weekends you usually think you have too much time? Yes, between the time it's at 4 is it 4 p.m. when you complete your preps, up to the time you go for what? For supper. You think that is a lot of time, so you tend to misuse it instead of using it to maybe do a group discussion. So because you need that excitement, you engage in leisure activities that is what? That is harmful to you. Back at home, if you have too much leisure time and you want excitement, of course, most of the exciting leisure activities, some of them are very harmful. Yes, they are very harmful, but that is because of the influence from the role models that you have. You tend to go to those ones. Like, for example, engaging in what? Alcohol abuse. Yes? When you think you have too much leisure time, that is when you do what? You do bad things like masturbating. Yes. Think about those instances, because it was being talked about in the church the other time. And I discovered if you have a problem in drug abuse, it goes hand in hand with what? That one I've talked about. And it is wrong. We continue. Also, conflict in the family due to the need to finance the leisure activity. Because you feel that you have too much leisure time and you're bored, you tend to bring conflicts with your parents or any relative that you are with, because they are not financing your leisure activity that you want to. Maybe your leisure activity, which other expensive leisure activity do you engage in? Tell me a leisure activity that you engage in that is expensive. Training for football. Those who go to the football camps. It's very expensive. And because over the holiday you feel maybe you have too much time, you might want to go to those camps to be trained. Or piano lessons are usually very expensive. And because of that, and your parents are telling you that they do not have money to fund such a leisure activities, you might end up doing what? Having a conflict with them, disagreements. Also, there is also involvement in bad company and peer pressure. Because if you have too much time, you don't choose the kind of friends to hang out with. You're just looking for the next person who's idle as you are. Yes, so that you can mingle with them. So you end up involving yourself in a bad company. You hear people are leaving to go somewhere. All of a sudden tell them we are leaving together. Wait for me, I put on my shoes, we go. You don't even know where they're going. So you end up being what? In a bad company whereby you're pressurized to do things which are not what? Which are not godly. Also, it leads to, if you too much leisure time, it leads to lack of parental control, whereby your parent cannot be able to control you or your leisure activity. If you have too much time, you know your parent most of the time is working in order to bring forth your basic needs. They are not there. So they tend to not have control over you. Because if they are working and you have too much freedom, you are going to engage in those leisure activities that are what? That are harmful when they are not there. Like, for example, watching a lot of what? Yes? A lot of pornographic what? Material. Because I discovered you don't only watch just educational forums on TV. Or nowadays people don't even use the TV. On the internet. You don't use the internet to learn maybe how to solve a sum in mathematics. You engage in watching something that is what? About a relationship that is done what? That is breaking. Or how can I get a girl to date? That is the number one what? Search. Look at the things that you searched on Google or on TikTok. Yes? How to woo girls. Instead of typing there, how to pass in mathematics. How to, yes? Have you ever typed? Yes? How to do titration. Have you ever Googled? Not even Googled, gone to YouTube. Look at the what you put in your search engine. Also, another problem associated with too much leisure is too much of unplanned time may lead to alcoholism and drug abuse. Yes. Because you're idle, it leads you to abuse drugs. Yes, and this goes hand into hand with the people you're engaging with, because they'll tell you, we are free, let's try this. Because you're searching for the next high. From there, we go to